Oh, we come to you from just an absolutely beautiful drone shot from the STSPN.com drone, and we get set to bring you action here tonight from the outdoors to the indoors at Glacier Peak High School, home of the Grizzlies. I'm Mark Aucutt with Todd Elvig here this evening as we have a matchup of the Cascade Bruins, who have struggled this year. We're not going to gloss things over. This girls' team is 0-7 in conference play. That's Wesco 4A with an overall record of 1-12. The Glacier Peak Grizzlies on the opposite side of that. They're 8-5 overall, and they are 6-1 in Wesco 4A play. Great to have you with us on STSPN.com, and want to mention that we have a great group of sponsors who present our broadcasts throughout the year. That's Lake Stevens Ace Hardware Store, Fred's Rivertown Ale House, McDaniel's Do-It Center, American Family Insurance, G&S Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, Speedway Chevrolet, Fox Sports, KRKO, AM and FM, and IRG, Murphy's Corner Physical Therapy. Great to have you with us here tonight at Glacier Peak High School as we bring you the action, and plenty going on here this month as they lead into February and the playoffs, which get started in just a few weeks. So obviously Glacier Peak wants to build up their portfolio as to where they are in the standings. Are right behind Lake Stevens, Wesco 4A, as Glacier Peak is 6-1, Lake Stevens is 7-0, and then you have Jackson and Kamiak each at 4-3, as well as Mariner at 4-3, Monroe 2-5, Mount Vernon 1-8, and then you've also got Cascade at 0-7. So thanks for being with us. Let's take a look at the starting lineups. First of all, for the visiting Cascade Bruins, starting at a wing position is a 5'7" senior. That's Caitlin Daniel. Also starting at guard, a 5'4" junior, Katie Valenzuela. In the lineup for them, starting at wing, is a senior at 5'6". That's a wing, Casey Lauritsen. Also starting for Cascade is a 5'10" wing, a senior, Brooke Alcayaga. And also in the lineup for them, starting as a post, a 5'10" senior, Trinity Baker. So you've got Daniel, also Valenzuela, Lauritsen, Alcayaga, and Trinity Baker. Alcayada, that's Brooke Alcayada in the lineup there. She also has a sister that plays on the team who's a senior, Amanda Alcayaga. So there's your starting lineup. Their head coach is John Brhanovich, and John is got a son down in Waco, Texas at Baylor University. That's right. David Brhanovich, who is viewing the game, and we say hi to David. We'll probably do that a couple of times tonight. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. As announced by head coach Brian Hill, he is in his 10th season. First of all, starting at one guard position is a 5'8" junior, Haley Grambo. Also starting at a guard post position, a hybrid, 5'11" senior, Michaela Guerra. Another starter for Glacier Peak, a 5'7" guard senior, Nicole Jensen. Also in the lineup, a 6'1" guard and post, junior, Alexis Newman. And one of my favorite names in Wesco, a 5'7" guard senior, Abby Josepaitis. That's your lineup right there for Glacier Peak. Haley Grambo, Michaela Guerra, Nicole Jensen, Alexis Newman, and Abby Josepaitis. Again, Brian Hill in his 10th season, John Brhanovich in his second go-around as head coach of the Cascade Bruins. He was there for 8 seasons the first time, and he's in season number 2 the second time. He's also had a successful run at Archbishop Murphy High School. We'll take a quick break and come back with more play-by-play action right after this on STSPN.com.
When you shop at Ace Hardware in Lake Stevens, you not only find what you need, we make sure you get the help you need too. Hi, this is Gray Eaglestead, and I own Lake Stevens Ace Hardware with my wife Christine.
We'll greet you at the door and answer any questions you have about what you need. We're all about serving our customers and our community.
We support local high school sports and many other Lake Stevens organizations and events throughout the year.
So the next time you need something for that job around the house and a little friendly advice, come see us.
Ace Hardware in Lake Stevens. We are the helpful hardware folks.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware folks.
Isn't it Mark? Didn't I write my name? Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Aucutt here.
Yeah, your name is Mark.
Yeah, well, they didn't quite get that right down below, but we'll get them corrected. And we're all set to go here at Glacier Peak High School. This gym has a nice feel about it. I know you spend a good chunk of time here, but it's for those of us coming in to announce a game, it has a nice feel. It's a good-sized facility. and they're ready to go. The Glacier Peak Grizzlies on your screen will be going from left to right. And for the Cascade Bruins in the black uniforms, they're going from right to left, as that would make sense. No problem early on as a quick pass down low inside. And that's an easy 2 points for Michaela Guerra, and we are underway. 2-0 lead for the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. And, they want to take quick command of this one.
Yeah, no, they have a lot of fundamentals that they need to work on, especially getting ready for next week. I talked with Coach Hill, and he said we're going to play this game like any other game. Doesn't matter what the record is. We have to put in the work.
Well, you really do, and you can't take anybody lightly because they will sneak up on you. We see that all the time. 3-point jumper off the mark. And Cascade and both teams chasing it down. Glacier Peak's going to stay alive with it. Look at this launch. Another one off the mark, and the rebound pulled down. We got a travel. That travel is called against Alexis Newman, who averages 15 points per game, 8.5 rebounds per game, and she just picked up her first rebound, but also a turnover as Cascade will get it back. And if you're Cascade, Todd, you're looking for the little things as far as improvement is concerned. Staying in the game, smart passes, smart shot selection, all those kind of things. Good positioning as they're moving the ball right here. That looks a little short, and it's going to go out of bounds. So Glacier Peak gets it back. Still just a 2-0 lead. 1:08 into the first quarter.
Yeah, I think Cascade, they have quite a few things that they're working on, but I think that you can't get any better unless you play good teams. So I think it's an opportunity for them to be able to get out there with the Grizzlies.
Well, that's exactly right. Well, they lapse on defense there and pay the price for it. Michaela Guerra hits the big one from outside, and she's got all 5 points. Glacier Peak up to the 5-0 lead here in the first quarter. We'll have the selection of the player of the game at the end of tonight's broadcast. And a steal by Glacier Peak, so we'll be keeping a close eye on that. Peek into front court, the Grizzlies in their 10th year of existence, and Brian Hill has been the head coach the entire time. Travel call. That's a couple of travels right there called against Glacier Peak. Yeah, she did a little hop. Now, who is bringing us our player of the game presentation tonight?
Speedway Chevrolet in Monroe.
Thank you. That's Speedway Chevrolet in Monroe. Since the year 2000, our family-owned and operated dealership has provided high-quality Chevrolet cars, trucks, and SUVs to Everett. Make sure to stop by Speedway Chevrolet. Not only do they serve Everett, they serve Linwood, Bothell, and surrounding cities. Our extensive inventory of new and used vehicles is online for your convenience. That's Speedway Chevrolet, proud sponsor of our Player of the Game.
They've taken really good care of us over the years.
Taking care of us and taking care of a lot of people who are looking for a great deal on automobiles.
That is correct.
Now we have another turnover as Cascade will get it back. And through one way of being turnovers, Cascade is hanging in there, down just 5-0. But Glacier Peak could explode really quickly. Now Cascade finally gets their basket. Trinity Baker.
I don't know what the Grizzlies are doing, if this is their regular starting lineup or if Hill is pulling something funny here. But I got to tell you that the way that these couple of turnovers that they've had, I'm sure that he's just beside himself.
Yeah, well, this is pretty much their regular look. So the early going not going too well for Glacier Peak as to where they'd like it to be, and a near steal there. But Glacier Peak gets it back. They've missed 3 3-pointers, too.
She had a long look at that one.
Got to be careful bouncing it into traffic like that, and a little too rushed on the shot. Missed by Caitlin Daniel. Still 5-2. Mark Aucutt, Todd Elvig here, and who is our wonderful camera person?
My daughter, Sarah.
Sarah is on the camera tonight. That's great.
She actually does better than the boys when the boys are here.
And you have the two sons that went to Glacier Peak High School, and now Sarah is a sophomore here at Glacier Peak. So you're getting her started in the media, in the broadcast arts at an early age. Actually, she's been doing it since before this year.
Absolutely. Like
Another
to get her
miss.
behind the computer.
They're 1 for 6 on 3-pointers. They've missed 5 of them. The foul is going to be on Haley Grambo. That's her first foul, first team foul. 4:22 left to go in the first quarter. Still just a real low-scoring, turnover-laden game. Just a bit short. She seemed to be out of her range that time. Caitlin Daniel goes out of bounds, one of the starters in the lineup. Also a special thank you to IRG. They're a new sponsor. They're over there at Murphy's Corner. We thank them for coming on board with us. Glacier Peak moving the ball around some. It's swatted away. Here comes Cascade with the ball again. Clicking under the 4-minute mark in the first quarter of action.
Kind of looked like a travel there, but
he's called enough of them already. Maybe he's
nice.
easing up on that a little bit. Over on the left side, it's going to be tough to get in there, and ball is going to be thrown out of bounds. That's going to be a turnover against the Cascade Bruins, and Glacier Peak's going to bring in a couple players. Sydney Guffey and also Aaliyah Collins. Collins averages 8 points per game, so she gets out in the action right now as Glacier Peak with the 3-point lead. All the points scored by the Grizzlies' Michaela Guerra, and then over on the other side it would be Trinity Baker for Cascade. Out of bounds, it goes the other direction. That one may end up in the atrium out there.
I think it went right out to the concession stand.
It sure did. Chase that down. Usually if it goes that fast, we're chasing it down for a hot dog. And we've got a timeout on the floor. 3:28 left to go here in the first quarter, and it's a close one, 5-2.
It is a close one, and you know, this gives me a second. Let's see if I can get through this story quick enough.
Why don't you take the break, or what do you want to do? You want to tell the story? Because then you can tell it during the game action here. I didn't know if you had to sell a spot or something.
Well, we'll go with.
You're the boss. You tell me.
How about you do the IRG read there?
Yeah. Supportive atmosphere. That's IRG Murphy's Corner Physical Therapy. Now that's right there in Mill Creek.
It is.
I'll let you save your story until we get into game action here. Steele. Glacier Peak should have an easy one there, and there it is. That's Alexis Newman. Her first 2 points in the game. Back to a 5-point lead at 7-2.
Well, this actually has to do with the Bruins.
All right.
And it actually has to do with how small the world is, and especially
travel called against Cascade. Go ahead.
Especially when we are broadcasting out to the world. So my wife works for Skyline Properties, and one of her new agents is from Gambia in Africa.
Oh.
His son goes to Cascade. He actually plays for the varsity. He was there showing videos to my wife where she indicated, yes, those are done by my husband's company.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he said all of his family in Gambia, in Africa, watch those games.
Going to go back to Cascade here. That is amazing. The whole family over there in Gambia, Africa?
Yep.
So they might be watching tonight, or is it just the boys' game?
Well, they might be following the high school, but I know that that was just incredible to me. He said it was they don't even have words for it.
No, because they speak a different language, but
No,
I know what you're saying.
That's pretty good there.
Yeah, thank you. And, look at that down low inside. That was a beautiful pass. Beautiful pass that time by Abby Josephitis. And connecting on the basket, Aaliyah Collins, 9-2 now. Good follow-up. She had great position. Trinity Baker, the senior, comes up and puts it in. She was in perfect position and just did the smart thing, held her position, put it back into the hoop. Less than 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Glacier Peak playing with a position of strength as they've been able to sub in once, a couple now again. And that shot just misses by Alexis Newman, but she is fouled and will go to the line with 2 shots. This is going to be the first team foul called against Cascade.
I think Aaliyah Collins there, I'm watching her dribble. She's going to have to be careful. She's going to get called for a carry.
That's going to be on Brooke Alcayaga, her first. So 2 shots here for Alexis Newman. The first trip to the line for either of the teams. Thank you so much for tuning in on STSPN.com. Miss on the first one. Haley Grambo back into the game for Glacier Peak, as well as Nicole Jensen. Cascade's able to bring Rose Gonzalez in, and also Valerie Zaragoza. Second one rims out. So she misses them both, Todd. And, again, we beat on it all the time, but you got to make those foul shots.
Well, they're free.
That's right. Cascade has an opportunity to close the gap some here. Can they get that done? Again, sloppy play as the ball goes out of bounds, and that's going to stay with Cascade. So Gambia, Africa, and he is where these people are from. Now, was Dad over here or something? Or
no, they moved here.
Okay.
They immigrated.
Oh, look at that pass. Oh, you got to close on that. You got to finish on that. That was a great pass by Collins, but you can't go in there so fast that you lose track of the soft touch you need to make that lay-in. That happens far too often, not just in the girls' game, but boys and men's and women's. They're just, you got to take it in there and really concentrate. That's an air ball, goes out of bounds. Less than a minute to go in the first quarter.
We were looking at a stat the other night, and according to our stats, the games we've covered, the girls actually have a better free throw percentage than the boys.
Glad to see that they're taking the time to work on it. Inside, like clockwork, it worked very well. Sydney Guffey connects on the basket. Back up to a 7-point lead at 11-4. Stolen away. And Cascade having a little trouble. Glacier Peak, again, forcing the shot. That's Newman. You got your teammates around, got to dish it off sometimes, and then maybe you get it back. And just hate to see him fling them up like that. Inside, Collins gets it done. She's got 4 points now and a 9-point lead at 13-4 as we wind things down here in the first quarter. That one just off the mark, and the quarter will come to an end. At the end of one quarter, Glacier Peak leading Cascade 13-4. This is STSPN.com and our coverage of Western Conference girls basketball.
Did you know that Speedway Chevrolet is part of the Lee Johnson Auto family? That means 84 years of serving you the LJ way. Need a truck? We have the perfect truck to fit your needs. Half tons, 1 ton, 2-wheel drives, and 4-wheel drives. Our finance specialists are here to help you, whether you have good credit or bad credit. We're just off Highway 522 at West Main Street in Monroe.
Lee Johnson Auto Family, the LJ way.
We are all frustrated with the high cost of heating and cooling our homes. At GNS, we are completely changing the way you keep your home comfortable. Our Mitsubishi electric cooling and heating system allows you to control the temperature in each room separately, all of which can be controlled from your smartphone or tablet. And because we are the mini split experts here in Washington, we can design a perfect system for you, one that will save you a lot of money on your utility bill. Call GNS Heating, Cooling, and Electrical today or visit us at gsheating.com.
We're back live at Glacier Peak High School, home of the Grizzlies. I'm Mark Aucutt with Todd Elvig and Sarah Elvig on the camera. Bringing you the second quarter of action, brought to you by McDaniel's Do It Center. Another longtime sponsor on STSPN.com. 13-4, Glacier Peak has the 9-point lead, which is their biggest in the game. Cascade and a lot of turnovers, and Glacier Peak probably could have about 23 points up there if they'd made some more of those lay-ins. And, you know, it's really kind of surprising because talent-wise and experience-wise, they have the edge, and record-wise, they have the edge on Cascade, but they're just really not taking their time going inside.
Yeah,
There's another example of it. No reason to hurry like that.
Nope, and I was talking to Hill about it, Coach Hill, before the game, and it was my biggest worry was the fact that they were going to come in and they weren't going to play serious. And, you know, I've seen them play better.
Well, the thing is, Cascade, yes, they're 0-7, 1-12 overall, but at the same time, you still have to go out there and play them like their record is reversed so you don't pick up bad habits.
Exactly. And I think that Coach Hill kind of alluded to that. He said that, you know, he doesn't know how long he'll leave the starters in because he doesn't want them to pick up anything. They gotta be ready for Friday. And
there was a foul called on Haley Grambo. That's her second team foul. Stolen away. Good lead pass. Josephitis connects on the basket. her first 2 points of the game, and 5 scores now for Glacier Peak in this game, and they've got it up to a 15-4 lead. It was 9-4, so they're on a 6-0 run. Down low inside, not going to happen. That's a tricky move right there with 3 white jerseys standing right by you. Josephitis loses it. Glacier Peak reckless down low inside, but it looks like they're going to have the opportunity to go to the foul line.
But at least right there, when you watch that a little bit of – go ahead.
No, you're fine.
You watch a little bit of that throwing the ball around there. You know, she reached out and grabbed it. She reached out. She went out of bounds and threw the ball back in. Several things there indicate that, you know, they do have the ability to play at a little higher level.
Foul was on Valerie Zaragoza, her first foul, second team foul. Sydney Guffey is at the foul line, makes the first foul shot. Glacier Peak now 1 for 3 at the line, 2 for 4 at the line with the make, up to a 13-point lead at 17-4. And yes, going in, we had a feeling it would be one-sided. But the other thing, too, to keep in mind is that with your coverage, Todd, you try to spread it around to get as many teams on as you can. And Cascade getting an opportunity to be on TV tonight.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It absolutely, you know.
Look at that beautiful splashdown by Josephitis. And we are going to take a timeout because Cascade is taking a timeout. John Barhanovich calls for a full timeout. We'll be back with more. 20-4 is our score here on STSPN.com. Western. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here at Glacier Peak High School, and again, thank you to McDaniels Do It Center, located in beautiful Snohomish, Washington, locally owned and operated for over 40 years. Proud to provide Snohomish, Monroe, Lake Stevens, Everett, and Snohomish County. There's a nice basket, a three-pointer.
Three-point basket, number 22.
That basket scored by Caitlin Daniel as they finally find a three ball, but on McDaniel Do It Center, exceptional hardware in all those locations that they serve, with their spot right there in Snohomish County. Tools, lawn and garden, and sporting goods products. They have sporting goods products there, too.
They do. I exercised my constitutional right just a few weeks ago and got myself a really nice 9mm rifle.
Very nice. Inside. Put it on the floor. Goes to the basket. Now, that's the right way you want to do it. Didn't hesitate. Didn't force it. Turned on the shot, or turned around, put the shot up, and connected on it. Up to a 15-point lead, 22-7 here at Glacier Peak. Mark Aucutt with Todd Elvig is a big lead for the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. And Todd, we've talked about this, and even if a team has been struggling throughout the year like Cascade, you still want to give them fair exposure like you do all the teams. Through the course of the year, there might be some on more than others because of how they're doing, because of their excellence, or certain matchups that we have where both teams are really strong. But by spreading it around, we're able to give parents and family members, not just locally but throughout the world, an opportunity to see their children, grandchildren,
absolutely,
nieces, nephews, you name it.
And I think what people have to understand is that it doesn't matter if you are unbeaten or if you are don't have any wins. These girls, for Cascade, they put in just as much time as the girls at Glacier Peak. They have to go home and do their homework after the game's over, just like Glacier Peak has to do. I mean, these girls work just as hard. Sometimes things aren't working out. They click the same as other schools, it's luck of the draw every year. But they're all working really hard.
No doubt about that foul. It's going to go against Brooke Alcayaga. That's going to be her third team foul, and will send Alexis Newman to the foul line. She's 0 for 2 so far, missed a couple in that first quarter. She'll get another crack at it. Has 4 points in the game thus far. First one is good.
Number 34, Malia Jones, her first, team's third. Shooting 2 for Glacier Peak, number 23, Alexis Newman.
Newman connects on both of them. They're actually going to give that foul to Malia Jones. I saw 33 spinning out of the way right on contact, so that doesn't look right to me, but we'll just go with it. So that's her first foul. Third team foul. Just 2 team fouls for Glacier Peak. Glacier Peak with the steal. That's Newman coming out of backcourt. Taking their time, 20 seconds left on the shot clock, plenty of time. But they've been really trying to go inside and exploit a weakness of the Cascade Bruins. Wow, that's a beautiful three-pointer from Newman. She's starting to stack up the points. Now has 9 in the game. She has 7 in the quarter. It's up to a 27-7 lead. Biggest lead of the game for the Grizzlies as they are pulling away. Cascade just having some difficulty hanging on to the ball. And, of course, Glacier Peak, you see the trapping defensive and over in the corner there. Doesn't make it easy. And this is a case, too, where you are able, as this lead is where it is or it gets bigger, you're able to get a lot of players in if you're Glacier Peak.
Absolutely. Yep, they got to be able to go to the bench if they plan on going anywhere into the playoffs.
Yeah, and that is getting closer. This is game number 14 for them. They'll have 6 left after this. That foul is going to go on Malia Jones. Her second foul, team foul number 4. Glacier Peak will make a couple of substitutions as Guerra and Grambo come out of the game. No shots on this one. Last year, Glacier Peak had a very talent-laden team. Inside they go, and again, short on the shot is Alexis Newman, but Newman is able to get the ball back on the rebound and keep it alive with a fresh 30 for the Grizzlies. I like the way they're moving the ball, Todd. That's not been a problem, really. The issue has been missing those inside shots down low and then some of the travel calls. That's going to stay with Glacier Peak. Newman again makes it work. Now 9 points here in the quarter. She averages 15, and she's got 11 overall in the game. They had 3 Division I players come off that team last year.
That is absolutely right. And I saw that the Arizona girls played the other night on ESPN, and I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I sure would have liked to. That's where one of the girls from Glacier Peak went, and gosh,
and
if I
Paisley
can't remember
Johnson's at BYU.
That's correct.
And announcing Husky women's basketball earlier this year, they actually brought a huge contingent to the University of Washington from Glacier Peak to support her. Another turnover. Less than 2 minutes to go in the first half, and a 22-point lead.
I think they did that for volleyball too. For what was her name?
Lauren Sanders.
There you go.
Lauren Sanders there with the Husky volleyball team, and she had a strong first season. There's a big 3-ball. Abby Josephitis with her second 3-ball. She's got 8 points in the game and a big 25-point lead for the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. We got a timeout called. It looks like a 30-second timeout called by Glacier Peak. We'll be back with more here on STSPN.com.
When you shop at Ace Hardware in Lake Stevens, you not only find what you need, we make sure you get the help you need too. Hi, this is Gray Eaglestead, and I own Lake Stevens Ace Hardware with my wife Christine.
We'll greet you at the door and answer any questions you have about what you need. We're all about serving our customers and our community.
We support local high school sports and many other Lake Stevens organizations and events throughout the year.
So the next time you need something for that job around the house and a little friendly advice, come see us.
Ace Hardware in Lake Stevens, we are the helpful hardware folks.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware folks.
Welcome back. It's a 25-point lead. Glacier Peak up by the big amount right there, as you see on your screen, 32-7. Again, a good ball movement, but not a good finish as Cascade ends up with the rebound, and they'll go the other direction. And again, wearing the black uniforms, Glacier Peak here at home in their whites. A step-in shot that time, and a miss. Down to 1 minute to go in the second quarter.
I don't think she needed to do that. I think she should have just stopped and
pop.
Yeah.
Glacier Peak working it to where they're taking some time off the clock on these drives down court. I like the way they're working that ball around, and that's the kind of stuff that pays off as you get into the postseason too. But they've missed a lot of three-pointers. Again, they could be up by a chunk more had they hit a lot more of their lay-ins and three-point shots. It could be like a 35-point lead. That ball's going to go and miss the rim completely. Glacier Peak probably worked for one shot right here. No need to rub it in.
Yeah. Aaliyah, I hope she watches this. Aaliyah, you cannot carry the ball. You're going to get nailed for that. She has that really easy dribble where she's kind of like doing that little over the top, that little roll.
Not a good habit to have. There's a miss, and the half is going to come to an end. We are at halftime here at Glacier Peak High School, and our score is Glacier Peak 32, Cascade 7. They only got 3 points in that second quarter, where Glacier Peak scored 18. You see where this has been going, and we will take a break now. We'll come back just before the start of the second half. And this is STSPN.com's coverage of Western Conference girls basketball.
Did you know that Speedway Chevrolet is part of the Lee Johnson Auto family? That means 84 years of serving you the LJ way. Need a truck? We have the perfect truck to fit your needs. Half tons, 1 ton, 2-wheel drives, and 4-wheel drives. Our finance specialists are here to help you, whether you have good credit or bad credit. We're just off Highway 522 at West Main Street in Monroe.
Lee Johnson Auto Family, the LJ way.
And we are back here getting set for the start of the second half. I'm Mark Aucutt with Todd Elvig, and it's a one-sided game, 32-7. We're not going to sugarcoat that. Cascade was a little bit closer early on, and actually for a good chunk of the first quarter, they hung in there. At one point it was 9-4, and then Glacier Peak just started pulling away, and that's exactly what they really did in that second quarter as they outscored Cascade 18-3, and it gives them their biggest lead of the game at 25 points. And thank you to all our great sponsors like American Family Insurance, Sally Petty Agency. As your American Family Insurance agent, Sally can offer you dependable auto, home, business, health, and life insurance, as well as other insurance products. Thank you, Sally Petty, the agency there, and just really glad to have her on board. And that is over in Monroe. Sally Petty,
correct.
her agency. Yep. Mm-hmm. Now you've got Cascade going from your left to right in the black uniforms, Glacier Peak right to left, and guess what? They got the white uniforms on, and they have the ball after getting a steal right there. This is STSPN.com and our coverage of tonight's girls basketball game. We got more coming up, lots more basketball coming up as we move through the season.
Friday
night. Todd, who we have?
Grizzlies number 2 versus number 1. Grizzly girls against Lake Stephen girls.
Ooh, that's going to be a nice one. There's a big 3 ball. Speaking of nice ones, wow, Michaela Guerra just buried a beauty from up top. That is her second 3-pointer in the game. She has 8 points. The leading scorer for both teams is Alexis Newman. She has 11 points, 9 of those coming in the second quarter. That was good ball movement by Cascade. She's got to be patient and work it around like that. Don't put it on the floor. It's 35-9, now a 26-point lead. Newman did a great job in that second quarter, has an excellent pass right there, cutting through the lane to take it and put it in is Abby Josephitis. Now has 10 points. She had 8 in the first half. All those in the second quarter, actually. It's just tough. You see Glacier Peak with the experience of having gone as deep as they have in the postseason and just reloading, not rebuilding, reloading after last year and getting these other girls a chance to get in the action and make a contribution. A little hard off the glass that time. That foul is going to go against Casey Lauritsen. That is going to be her first foul and the first team foul called against Cascade in the second half. First trip to the line for Michaela Guerra. Looking good there. Next one, and she's got 10 points in the game. Gets it in there. So 10 for her. And now Glacier Peak has 3 players in double figures. Newman with 11, Josephitis with 10, and Guerra with 10. 30-point lead. Nice shot out on the wing. That's Katie Valenzuela. Looking at the ledger here, Cascade has hit 2 3-pointers. Good thing for them, though, is that they already have their highest scoring quarter here in the third.
Yeah.
Because they scored just 4 in the first, 3 in the second. Now they've got 5 in the third. Travel turns it over. That's 5 travel calls against Glacier Peak as the Grizzlies will rotate some players out. You want to keep them fresh. Friday night is just 2 nights away and playing against Lake Stevens, who's also ranked in the top 10 in the state of Washington.
Yeah, I don't want to have to say, but Lake Stevens is pretty polished.
Yeah, Lake Stevens has gone through growing pains, and when they were getting reloaded and stuff, rebuilt last year and such, and now they're, look at that steal.
That was amazing.
That goes out of bounds. It's going to stay with Cascade. Yeah, we were talking earlier. It's the little things that you got to work on if you're Cascade at this point in time. Just like that. Get that shot in there, and there it is.
There it is.
Just inside the line. Well, they made me look good on that one. Well, they've doubled their score from what it was at halftime. The patience of virtue to help you out. Newman's going to be fouled, hacked on the way in. She's already been to the foul line a couple of times where she's 2 for 4.
I think the Bruins are just trying to keep it from going to a running clock.
That foul's on Brooke Aucutt, her second foul, and that's team foul number 2. So going to the foul line will be Alexis Newman. Through the years, you've seen quite a few Glacier Peak boys and girls games here.
Quite a few. I mean, I think this year we've got more of everything. We got a couple of big ones coming up with you. Are you doing either one of those next week for KRKO?
Yes. It will be the Wednesday game, and that should be at Jackson. I don't believe we're going to be moving that one. It's going to be it's a flex night for us, but checking the schedule, I believe that will be me. I know I'll be doing it for KRKO, and so that's going to be at Jackson High School. A miss
Wednesday,
on the Glacier
24th.
Peak end, yeah. So the 24th, we've got action going there, and that is going to be Jackson and Glacier Peak at Jackson High School, and so we will have a simulcast for that. Inside, there's Newman getting her first points of the second half. I'm also on board with you on the 30th, which is Snohomish against Shorecrest at Snohomish High School. That'll be a good one. Shorecrest and Snohomish. There's another top 10 battle right there. How about that? And then down at the end, I'll do your last regular season game also at Snohomish, Shorewood, and Snohomish. So got 3 more coming up after this as we get to work together quite a bit. Also, thank you for last night because I was scheduled to do a game, and you were kind enough when I got the call to do Seattle Pacific men's public address to reassign that to someone else and let me go do that. So I appreciate that.
Well,
I'll never hear the end of it, but
it's on the list.
It's on the list. There I go off the rim, and Glacier Peak in command of things by a big chunk of 28 points.
Yeah, I think those 2 games are going to be pretty good. GP and Jackson. I think they're the boys is going to be good because Jackson keeps moving up.
Travel call.
And girls, same way. I think Jackson is right there in the middle. So, hey, you should have the list over there, right?
I do have a list right here. So you take a look at it. So Friday night, Lake Stevens and Glacier Peak. Lake Stevens is 7-0, 11-2 overall. Glacier Peak, the way things are going right now, would improve to 7-1 and 9-5 overall. We got a foul in the other direction. That's going to go against Glacier Peak's Madison Rubino. Her first foul, first team foul. They've only committed 3 in the game. Couple of shots. Took its time falling in there, but it is good. And at the line is Katie Valenzuela. She now has 4 points, hit a 3-pointer earlier in the third quarter. A little bit too much on that one. Glacier Peak holding court right here, and they're going to take it into front court. Jackson is 4-3. They are tied with Kamiak and Mariner. And we got a foul. Glacier Peak's going to have a couple of shots. Trinity Baker called for the foul, her first. Third team foul. At the foul line with 2 shots is Madison Rubino. Glacier Peak is doing a good job at the foul line after Alexis Newman missed the first couple. Then they've been rolling since that time, making now 10 in a row.
Yeah,
44-15.
There is a log
You're
jam
studying
right
this
there in the middle.
Standings. Yeah, there are. They are bunched together, which makes it exciting for us as we go down the stretch here and the games that we're covering. Out of bounds. Taking a look at what's going on tonight. full assortment of games. You've got Arlington and Snohomish over at Snohomish High School just across the valley from us. Also, Edmonds Woodway is at Oak Harbor. Marysville Pilchuck at Everett. Meadowdale at Linwood. Shorewood playing at Mount Lake Terrace. Stanwood at Marysville Getchell. Glacier Peak working it around and a push-off. Jackson is at Mount Vernon. That foul is going to go against Caitlin Daniel, her first. Fourth team foul, no shots. Lake Stevens is at Kamiak tonight. So you've got the 7-0 playing against the 4-3. That could be interesting. Keep an eye on that as to, well, I tell you, if they got the win, if Kamiak got the win at home, that would be nice to kind of thicken the plot a little bit.
That is absolutely right. And I got to tell you, so Jackson, barring anything crazy, they should have the win over Mount Vernon. So that'll put them, that'll keep them 2 games out of first place.
On the other side of the coin, Lake Stevens wants to stay perfect, so they got plenty of motivation going into that. They'd like to be 8-0 going into that Friday night game against this Glacier Peak Grizzly team.
Yes, they would.
Which, again, appears to be on their way to improving their record to 7-1. Definitely a first and second place game. No matter how you slice it, that's how it will go on Friday night. And we will have it on STSPN.com. That starts at 7:15 here in Snohomish County and the world.
That is right.
I found that story very interesting about our games over there in Africa. And just like tonight, David Barhanovich, son of Cascade head coach John Barhanovich, is watching while he attends Baylor University down in Waco, Texas. We know he's kicking back, just taking a break from studies and watching the game. That foul is going to be against Malia Smith, her first second team foul. 2 shots, and the first one is a miss for Caitlin Daniel. Into the game for the Glacier Peak Grizzlies is Tiara Holloman. She sees her first action of the game.
I see your friends over there at 1380 are doing the Snohomish-Marysville Pilchuck game.
All right.
Boys on Friday.
You take a look at that one. Snohomish is in a tie for first place with Shorecrest. On the girls' side, I don't have the boys standing. You got the boys standing. Let's take a look at that there, as they'll have a good one coming up on Friday night. Well, let's focus on this one as well. A 29-point lead for the Glacier Peak Grizzlies here at home. Light on the shot. Now there's a hack foul. Didn't need to do that. Rose Gonzalez is going to get fouled. That's going to be her first foul, 5th team foul with 1:07 left to go in the third column. Quarter of action.
Well, the Snohomish and Marysville Pilchuck, we won't really mention what their record is, but they're both similar and closer to the bottom. So that actually will be a really good game.
We found that to be exactly the case. Did a game for KRKO a couple of weeks ago, and it was at Monroe. And both teams were not high on their win and loss record. They were not doing as well as they'd like to, but the game turned out to be pretty solid. That is Tiara Holloman getting her first 2 points. It's going to go out of bounds.
Ball out of bounds, Glacier Peak basketball.
Glacier Peak will get it back. They're up by 31 points. It is their biggest lead of the game. But yeah, when you get teams at the top that are very similar, have very similar records, at the bottom that have similar records, or in the middle, it adds to it.
Yeah, that's too bad. Monroe, they are supposed to be up there in the top, and they lost.
That was a nice-looking shot right there. Ella Smith, her first 3 points of the game. Now it's up to a 34-point lead.
Kobe Kyle, they're 6'7". He went up to do a dunk. He held onto the rim too long and hit the floor, and he was, I don't know what the outcome is, but he went out of the game with ice on his wrist.
Well, that is the end of the third quarter and a commanding lead for the Glacier Peak Grizzlies over the Cascade Bruins, 49-15 here at Glacier Peak High School. We'll bring you the fourth quarter of action right here on STSPN.com. Coming up, Western Conference Girls Basketball.
We are all frustrated with the high cost of heating and cooling our homes. At GNS, we are completely changing the way you keep your home comfortable. Our Mitsubishi electric cooling and heating system allows you to control the temperature in each room separately, all of which can be controlled from your smartphone or tablet. And because we are the mini split experts here in Washington, we can design a perfect system for you, one that will save you a lot of money on your utility bill. Call GNS Heating, Cooling, and Electrical today or visit us at gsheating.com.
We are back at Glacier Peak High School. It is 49-15 heading to the fourth quarter. Mark Aucutt, Todd Elvig, and we have to start thinking ahead to our Speedway Chevrolet Player of the Game award with the T-shirt. Speedway Chevrolet, a proud sponsor on STSPN.com, and we'll have a post-game interview with the Player of the Game. And right now I'm thinking Alexis Newman for Glacier Peak if it stays the way it is. Although I'm not sure how much playing time she's going to see the rest of the way. Not that it matters at this point. It's a 34-point lead for Glacier Peak. It would take some kind of an amazing fourth quarter for Cascade. But, you know, look how hard they're playing out there, shifting around on defense and staying on top of things, forcing Glacier Peak to keep it outside at this point in time. Now a breach and a foul down low. That's going to send Madison Rubino to the foul line.
Well, here you've got a lot of younger players in there now.
Yeah. I mean, basically they've cleared the bench and given these players an opportunity to get out there with the big lead.
Of course, Glacier Peak is pretty young anyway. I think they only have, what, like
Brianna Jones with the first foul, and that'll be team foul number 6. Yeah, well, with losing so many last year, at the foul line, making the first shot is Madison Rubino. Was a perfect 3 for 3, and now 3 for 4. Up to a 35-point lead, biggest lead of the game for the Grizzlies. It's a little over 30 seconds into the fourth quarter. And we do appreciate you tuning in for all our games on STSPN.com. We got 2 shots going the other way. That's going to be on Tiara Holloman, her first foul, third team foul. At the foul line with the 2 shots, Malia Jones. She has not scored yet in the game and banks it off the glass. Always fun to see that kind of creative shooting taking place.
Using the glass.
Next one on the way, not so good. Follow-up is good.
Wow.
Good job by Rose
play.
Gonzalez. She had perfect position and did a great job popping it in. Well, the Cascade Bruins scored 8 points last quarter, which more than doubled what they had scored in the first half. I love just watching those passes here and just see if they can capitalize with this unit that's out there right now to get their experience.
Who's that 13 for Grizzlies?
That's Malia Smith.
She's got happy feet. She's going to have to pay attention when she's got that ball.
That foul was by Madison, or excuse me, that basket's by Madison Rubino. Go ahead.
You can't run and pass at the same time. You have to either dribble or stop.
That's out of bounds, goes back to Glacier Peak.
Look how excited she is, though. I mean, she's just a little firecracker out there.
We were talking about this earlier that Glacier Peak just has 3 seniors on their team, which would be Guerra, also Nicole Jensen, and Joseph Pitus. But you look at what they learned from the past is that's a nice follow-up. Madison Rubino puts it in. It's up to a 36-point lead. Biggest lead of the game for Glacier Peak as they continue to pull away even with all the non-starters out there. Held ball, and that's going to stay with Cascade. So looking at Glacier Peak, Todd, they have the 3 seniors, and also they have just 3 juniors.
Yeah, but I think that's what Coach Hill was alluding to when he said we're really young, but we're going to be great.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team that already is having a solid season on the way to a 7-1 and then 9-5 overall record in Wesco 4A. And they've got these players that are going to be around for a while, so that's good news for them. He's had a very successful run here. It's fun to watch these youngsters out here directing the offense, and that looked really good. Just inside the line, that is Malia Smith, but again, really got to appreciate that ball movement.
Look at, she's just full of energy out there, man. She is a hustler.
Fun to, yes, she is.
Runs to the ball.
Whistle on the floor, and that is going back to Glacier Peak. What's interesting is that the Glacier Peak Grizzlies have 5 sophomores, and they have 4 freshmen listed on the team. Over on the other side, a lot of seniors for Cascade. They have a total of 9 seniors, just 2 juniors, and 1 sophomore. So they're going to have to bring in some new players next year with all these seniors graduating. Turnover goes back to Cascade, and right at this point, it's really what the final score is going to come down to, Todd.
It is. It's going to be. I think this is just huge for these girls here to get the experience.
Yeah, both teams getting both their reserves out there, and they're just learning. They're working together and getting a chance to execute what they've been doing in practice. And it's great when you can empty the bench like this and give them that opportunity. With a younger team and you build up a lead like this, that opportunity presents itself. That's thrown out of bounds. Good idea by Holloman, but just a little bit off the mark.
Wrong colored jersey. She threw it to the guy with stripes.
We got a timeout on the floor called by Cascade. It's a full timeout and a 56-18 lead for the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. We'll be back with more action here on STSPN.com. Girls basketball for the Western Conference. Folks, 4:34 left to go, fourth quarter. Mark Aucutt, Todd Elvig, Sarah Elvig here as well, bringing you the action from Glacier Peak High School. Glacier Peak with a big lead. They're up by 38 points, and Cascade throws it away again. Glacier Peak's just going to work and set up for the right shot if they can be patient. That's how you can tell that they're going to more of a half-court offense. It works down low inside. Once again. Madison Rubino off the pass from Ella Smith. The buzzer went off. We do have the running clock now. It's a 40-point lead at 58-18. Maybe that was to let them know while play was going on, it's a running clock. With the 40-point lead, that's what happens.
Yes, even in basketball.
Yeah, and it does help things out. You don't want to be just stopping the clock and playing it tight like that when it's a big lead like this. In the last quarter, Glacier Peak came up with 15 points. Soft touch, Madison Rubino. She just continues to add to what she has. And another timeout has been called by Cascade. We'll get you Rubino's points coming up here. We'll be back with more at 60-18 as Glacier Peak is up by 42 points here on STSPN.com.
We are all frustrated with the high cost of heating and cooling our homes. At GNS, we are completely changing the way you keep your home comfortable. Our Mitsubishi electric cooling and heating system allows you to control the temperature in each room separately, all of which can be controlled from your smartphone or tablet. And because we are the mini split experts here in Washington, we can design a perfect system for you, one that will save you a lot of money on your utility bill. Call GNS Heating, Cooling, and Electrical today or visit us at gsheating.com.
We are back here at Glacier Peak High School. Again, we thank you very much for tuning in wherever you are. And we got many more games coming your way, including Friday night. You're going to get to see this Glacier Peak team against Lake Stevens in girls basketball, the top 2 teams in Wesco 4A. That is going to be worth tuning in for as we bring it to you live on STSPN.com. And plenty more games to follow after that.
We'll probably have the band here Friday. What do you think?
That always adds to the ambiance, to the environment.
I'd like to have
Glacier
Lake
Peak.
Stephen bring their band.
Oh,
boy, they're good.
They are very, very good. I wouldn't be a bit surprised. They may have, I don't know, as far as regular season games, they may say, or they just don't allow that for the amount of appearances they can do. But we do see it at the district games, which is a lot of fun. We have a great time in the individual gyms leading up to it, but then the big facility, we have the foul. I want to make sure to get that to you. That's going to go against Kaylee Oak, who was called up from JV to play in this. That's going to be her first foul, 17 foul. At the foul line, Shaylin Sandy with 2 shots, makes the first one. But we go to Everett Community College, which is just the Taj Mahal.
Isn't that right?
Oh, it's 7 years old. Looks like they just opened it, and they just designed that thing with every possible amenity in mind, and it's so efficient and functional. And where we broadcast up on the track, running track above, is just a tremendous vantage point. This is nice, too, because you got us up top. We really see the court well.
Now, you did block out the time for the NWAC championships, right?
It's coming up. Yeah, that's right. Well, and we're just going to see what our assignments are and have fun with that as that gets rolling in March. 2 weekends worth, correct?
It is correct.
So you got that all set up and everything?
8th through the 12th and 17th and 18th.
Yeah. This is your 3rd year of coverage. I know how pleased NWAC is with it. Turnaround, going to be a miss. She has just had a great stretch out there, Madison Rubino. Really enjoy watching her play. Keep an eye on her. Rubino showing a lot of poise out there. Inside Holloman. And Glacier Peak keeps it going. A 44-point lead and just winding some time off here. And I think they're going to run out of time with the shot clock. Yeah, the shot clock is going to go off. So Madison Rubino, Todd, this is where you get excited about players coming along. She is just a freshman, 5'11" post. And you can see that she's going to be a fun one to keep an eye on for the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. One of 4 freshmen on the roster. Under a minute left to go. And nice lay-in. That's Amanda Alcayaga. Her sister Brooke in the starting lineup tonight. Brooke did not score any points. And we will have an interview with our player of the game after this one wraps up. We've decided it's Alexis Newman, who averages about 15 points a game. That's exactly what she got. We felt she was a presence inside. That's another basket for Madison Rubino. Look at Rubino here. In this quarter, the freshman has 11 points, 13 in the game. Really stepping up. 15 seconds to go in the ball game and a 44-point lead for the Glacier Peak Grizzlies as they're going to go to 7-1 in Wesco 4A, 9-5 overall, and doing what they're supposed to do tonight. This is a win that they felt they were going to grab, no problem, and they get it done. So now for Glacier Peak, that is 5 wins in a row. Cascade drops to 1-13, 0-8 in conference play, but let's give those girls credit, too, for hanging in there against a Glacier Peak team that brings back experience from last year, and they got a lot of talent coming through the ranks. Now we're going to hear from our player of the game, Alexis Newman. We're going to take a break first, or we're going to bring her straight up? Or do you want to take a little break, and then we'll bring her up here for the postgame? Whatever you want to do, boss.
Now we'll
keep it here?
Yeah, we'll keep it here.
Well, let me take a look at scoring here in this one. Caitlin Daniel for Cascade with 3 points. Katie Valenzuela with 4. 2 for Casey Lauritsen. 1 for Malia Jones. Amanda Alcayaga had 2 points. Trinity Baker with 6. Rose Gonzalez with 2 points. For Glacier Peak, Michaela Guerra had 10 points. Ella Smith, 3. We have Madison Rubino with 13, all in the second half. Malia Smith with 2, Sydney Guffey with 4, Aaliyah Collins with 4. Our post-game guest coming up, Alexis Newman with 15, and 10 for Abby Josephitis. So let's get the headsets all set here for Alexis Newman. And we got the T-shirt as well. We'll have her pop that out. Alexis, why don't we have you stand right here so we can get you the T-shirt and Todd will take a picture. So we've got that. There you go. We'll get her all set. Let me shake your hand. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, good job. Here's your T-shirt as we have that presented to you from our good pals over there at Speedway Chevrolet. You are the Speedway Chevrolet player of the game.
Thank you.
Glacier Peak picking up the victory to go to 7-1. We have you for 15 points. I know you're working hard underneath there. Good job with the rebounding, too.
Thank you.
So tell us about this one tonight. Coming into it, Cascade has had a rough year at 0-7, but you can't take anybody lightly, can you?
No, we said, like, in the locker room, like, we still have to take it seriously. And, like, we know, like, not going to be the best competition, but we still have to take it very serious. And we're just getting ready for Lake Stevens.
Yeah, and Lake Stevens is Friday night. That's a big one right there. They're playing Kamiak tonight. We don't have a score as to how that's gone, but they could be undefeated at 8-0. You are now 7-1. First and second place. We will have that game broadcast here on STSPN.com. So you're going to be on the in the spotlight again on Friday. So tell us about what you think about going into that game.
I think we're all excited. I'm excited. We're all, like, working really hard just to even, like, try and compete with them. Like, it's going to be, like, a really good game.
What about this team you're playing on right here? You lost 3 players that go to play Division I basketball, and there you are again, right in the thick of it, in second place right now with a chance to go into first on Friday night. And you guys look like you're reloading very well and not missing a beat.
Yeah. I mean, our chemistry together is really good this year, like, especially with me transferring and then Aaliyah Collins being a freshman. I mean, the girls have all been together, and then they treated us just like family when we got here.
That's great. So where'd you come in from?
Arizona, Phoenix.
Okay, so how are you adjusting to the weather? Big difference, big difference.
That's right.
About when did you move up?
Like June, like the day after I got out of school.
Okay, so you're a junior, so that was your sophomore year, so you're going to be here for this year and next year, and a team that has a lot of young talent, yourself included. So what brought the family up here to the Northwest?
We have a lot of family up here, like my grandpa and like all my cousins. And I mean, basketball is way better up here than it is in Arizona.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
we like to think so.
Yeah,
we
you
sure
picked
do.
A good school, didn't you, Glacier Peak?
And you picked a great place to come to.
Yeah.
And Brian Hill, who's been the only coach of girls basketball here in the school's existence, it's a great time. It's a win-win because obviously you've got talent there, and then this team has a great tradition. So perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you like to study in school? Is that a tough question?
Yeah.
Too many.
I like history a lot.
Okay.
I like to learn about, like, the past and, like I don't know, like anything that changed, like made history. Like, that's, like, very important that we all need to know.
Well, I agree with you. I like it very much myself. And you made some history tonight with the 15 points, and great job.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll get the picture over there, and we really appreciate you being here tonight.
Thank you.
As we will actually cover the game coming up on Friday night as it comes your way at 7:15 here on STSPN.com. Thank you very much, and continued success. We look forward to seeing you more and more this year in the postseason, and then, of course, next year. All right, we're glad that a nice transfer from the Valley of the Sun, and it was hot down there in Arizona this year. It is interesting because I know a couple of coaches, one at the UW with the women's basketball team was a lifetime Southern California, Jody Wynn, making her first winter adjustment of coming up here. And the volleyball coach at SPU, Abby Wright, lifetime Southern California. But we try to make them feel welcome, and we work on getting them acclimated to the weather because, quite frankly, we still have to deal with it too in these dark Januaries. But you know what really helps is this. Looking forward to these games, coming into these gyms. It's light in here, it's fun, and you forget about it if it's pouring down rain outside.
You know what really helps is parking out under the awning.
Oh, You don't hardly have to come very far from your usual. The big red truck is usually right out there, and that is a good thing. So we thank everybody for tuning in tonight, and we got that. They took the final score down so quickly.
Oh, well, I got it here.
Yeah, let's pop that back up there. Our final score is 64-22, as you have it there on the, and I love that graphic, Speedway Chevrolet. You know, Todd, before we sign off, I do and would like to thank all of our sponsors because they are so important to what we do. Lake Stevens Ace Hardware, our Winter Sports presenting sponsor. Thank you so much to the Eaglestads over there and Lake Stevens Ace Hardware. They're going to be loving that on Friday night with that game between Lake Stevens and Glacier Peak right here.
They will.
Fred's
like
Rivertown Ale House Restaurant and Bar, McDaniel's Do-It Center Home and Garden, American Family Insurance, Sally Petty Agency in Monroe, G&S Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, Snohomish County, Speedway Chevrolet, with our player of the game sponsor, Fox Sports Radio, KRKO AM and FM, and IRG, Murphy's Corner Physical Therapy. That's in Mill Creek, a new sponsor this season. So, you know, it's great to see the sponsor list just keep increasing. And I'm looking forward to working with you again next week as we have that game at Jackson.
And in March.
I have
to keep pushing that.
NWAC, that takes place in March. But we got a whole lot of basketball with regular season and high school postseason coming up. It really, really gets exciting. And I'm glad. I think I'm doing 7 for you, counting the simulcast.
Yeah.
So I'm
well,
really excited about
that. You probably get into the districts a little bit.
That's not even counting postseason.
Yep.
So we all are excited with Steve Willits, Scott, also Ron, and, of course, the Grand Poobah himself, Mr. Tom Lafferty.
Oh, yeah. Tom, he sneaks into more broadcasts, I got to tell you.
He loves it. He loves it. We he really does. And so do I. So, Todd, thank you very much. Thanks to Sarah on camera. And we'll talk to you Friday night. Who do you got on play-by-play that night?
Friday is Scott and the crew.
All right. Scott's here. So enjoy that, everybody. And we'll talk to you next week from Jackson High School. Until then, remember the final score tonight, Glacier Peak 64 and Cascade 22. Winning is for tonight. Sportsmanship is for a lifetime. Mark Aucutt saying good night and have a great rest of your evening.